which is where that whole idea of DISC falls into in terms of the behavior assessment, and the organization. And so, a situation here where we had a father who was looking to transition his company after about 30 years of building the business. And the son who he's going to turn it over to was much more methodical than the father. The father was one of these guys who would kind of get things laid out and have a task list of things to get done, and he'd be done with it in about 2 minutes, or he would be he would dog it to get through things until they were done. Now the son was a little more contemplative, I guess, maybe is or contemplative, whatever that word is, but he would take a little more time to kind of get stuff done, right?
That's it. That's the right definition.
And part of the challenge was the son was not as verbally communicative as the current owner was, and so there were a lot of things that the owner couldn't really. He tried to have discussions with the son about things, and things just didn't happen, or his son would just kind of stare back at him.
You just made me think of a college situation. I had an English teacher my first year of college, and the guy was really down to earth. And you had some people try to use 32-letter words and explaining something, and he would cross it out with a real heavy red mark, saying, "Look, nobody understands what you're saying when you use these words. Quit trying to impress everybody with your intelligence, because you aren't. You're just turning them off, and they're going to walk away from you. The key to communication is to make your point and do it in the simplest way possible." I love this guy.
I'm sure I'm thinking, and those of you who know Jack will appreciate this. I know that wasn't Jack's paper he was crossing things off on. So Jack must have been looking over somebody else's shoulder, and maybe he was highlighting that as part of the classroom to say, here's what's going to happen to you, right?
That's for sure. That's good. Certainly was never my paper.
All right. So this son was not as verbally communicative to be able to kind of talk things through, which you'd like to be able to do. So. And so from a leadership standpoint, his styles were very different. And then from an organization standpoint, the staff was aging a little bit. The staff, many of them, this is often the case too when it comes to a family business. The staff had been around for a while. A lot of them had been around for 20 plus years. And so a lot of the staff knew the son as the quote unquote kid, right? So they know him as a kid. And so yet now you have the kid who's coming in. Well, how do you now transition from seeing him as being that kid who was that little 12-year-old kid that when you first met him, right? Then now all of a sudden he's the boss.
Oh boy, what a transition!
Very difficult to do, And so, the son was very good at the products and services that the company had done, but had never really been involved in a leadership role like this before either. He never run a business, and really the roles he had in terms of his working career were really more just, again, being more of a good foot soldier. Wasn't really much in leadership roles. And so we got involved to help with that part of it. And we talk about helping with that transition. There are a lot of folks that are out there who help with succession planning and things like that. And Jack and I, there are a lot of great attorneys and CPAs and financial planners and insurance folks out there that can help create those kind of plans for you, and those are very necessary. But the part that gets missed is the part where Jack and I help out a lot, is with that day-to-day piece of this. How do I transition it, right?
So true.
So whether it be again trying to help with the very realities of getting the staff to see that 12-year-old kid who's now in his mid-30s as being the boss, to very simple just say, how do you make sure that a parent and child can communicate in a way that's different than maybe they're used to. It's not that parent-child thing anymore.
Hey kid, just follow me around for 6 months and you'll learn everything there is to know. Right. And surprisingly, a lot of people have that as their transition plan. And nothing could be farther from the truth and effectiveness than something like that. There's ways to do it, very effective ways, very fun ways, very meaningful ways.
Well, we got involved relatively early on, and what was really good about this owner was he had kind of a 10-year vision for this. He realized that this wasn't going to happen overnight, and so he wanted to have a little bit of time to make it happen. So we got involved pretty early on for a couple of years to help, and a big part of it was to help the son learn the business side of business. So we talk about our 7 keys and things that we help our clients on. It's a business side of business that he hadn't been exposed to before. And helped through a transition period where they lost a couple of pretty sizable clients that represent about half their business. So again, it wasn't like things were all good and happy and hunky dory. The business kept on going. The business, the clients don't know. People just keep operating the way they are. So to help kind of do that, so they're able to maintain profitability through that. So learning how these things kind of happen. So it was a good training ground, so to speak. That's one of the things that often the current owners would like to do. They want to take those decades of experience and somehow take it and siphon it out and put it all into that next generation's head. And it's hard to be able to do that. So if you allow enough time for it, you can make, often situations present themselves where a lot of those lessons can be presented pretty quickly. So this was very, very, very good from that standpoint. And so they were able to transition things. It helped to, it wound up delaying, they had kind of a 5-year plan to transition it. It wound up being more of an 8 or 9-year plan. But they're able to now go through that process, and they actually have been able to grow it back to the prior levels, transition a good chunk of the staff now. So a lot of the staff now is really the son's staff. And so again, they know him only as the boss. And the few that are still there from the old regime have followed him very, very well. And one of the big things he did too was he actually moved offices.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
A physical move from the old guard to the new guard. It just sets the message in ways that you just can't put your finger on. Very psychologically important.
All right, so keeping those things in mind, this is a very, very good success story. And he did a couple things. He embraced his style. He started to really understand the business side of business, and they maintained profitability. Those are 3 key things that they're able to do as part of this transition process. So it can be done no matter what the situation is going to be. Your situation is going to be unique. We understand that, but there's a lot of things that are very common from a transition like this that we can be very helpful with. And getting it started, sooner versus later is always very important. So.
Correcto.
All right, I want to thank you again for joining us for this week's edition of Dirty Secrets of Small Business. You can tune in and hear us here every Monday at noon. If you have any questions before the next show, shoot us an email. Again, it's radio@maximumvp.com. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/MaximumVP, or give us a call, 877-849-0670.
Hey, we have a lot of fun doing this stuff, including the radio show. Just a lot of fun talking about small business and the trials and tribulations, but put in perspective that A, you're going to get something solved, and B, it's going to be fun doing it. We've had great success, and basically, if you want to really be a winner, we can help.
If you miss any part of this show or future shows, you can check us out on iTunes, and you can also see us on the archive programs or wintradio.com. Check us out there as well.
Okay, learn more dirty secrets of small business next month.